Kurt, Jesse, gentlemen, welcome to the Forge. The two of you are about to take part in the third battle in our Gladiators of Forge competition series. Now, Kurt, you know how this goes, but Jesse, this round is going to consist of 8 hours of bladesmithing competition where you're going to build a blade from start to finish. Now, first things first, gentlemen, we need to find out what blade from our ever-changing wall of Roman gladiator weapons you guys will both be building today.
I'm thinking the Copus.
The Copus traces its origins back to 7th century BC Greece, but proved such a powerful fighting weapon, it stood the test of time and remained popular throughout the Roman Empire. Featuring a wide, recurved blade that was designed to deliver deadly slashes and an enclosed guard that protected the hand, this one-handed weapon proved popular with cavalry soldiers and gladiators alike. The Copus previously made an appearance in the Forge and Fire arena back in Season 5, where the competition came down to the finest details.
Bladesmiths, good luck. Your time starts now.
I end up starting with 18 layers because I don't think I'm gonna need all 20 pieces for this blade. So right now I stretched my billet out. I'm gonna cut it up into 5 pieces, which will overall give me 90 layers, and it'll make that raindrop Damascus stand out a lot more. Once I'm comfortable with the shape of the blade and the bevels, I'm getting ready to quench. This is the most important step because without the quench and hardening your blade, you have something that looks like a blade, but it's not a blade.
Kurt's quench.
Hotter than heck.
It sounded like there was a crack.
Uh-oh.
If I had to start over right now, I don't know if I'd be able to finish a blade.
Things are looking a little questionable for Kurt right now.
I'm not seeing anything, which is very relieving. So I start working on this animal head pommel. I draw what looks like it might be a horse. I don't know what it's gonna look like when I'm finished, but right now I'm kind of going for a horse.
This handle is a lot more detailed than any of the other handles he's already done.
There's a much bigger gap between the handle and the guard than what I wanted.
If you do have gaps, fill them. Mix some sawdust with some epoxy, because any one of those small areas can really bite a piece of skin.
I'm running out of time. My handle's not pretty. It doesn't look nearly as good as I wanted. So I'm now back to, I'm gonna be spending every minute, and I'm gonna have a gap in my handle now.
Currently, I'm a sophomore at the University of Michigan, and I'm double majoring in electrical and mechanical engineering. Oh my God, that's so nerdy. Coming into this competition, I'm a little bit nervous. I'm up against Kurt, who's already won twice, which means he'll be thinking more calmly than me. But otherwise, I think I've prepared well for this competition.
Jesse's out of the forge, doing a hammer set first before heading to the press.
20 layers is too little for an intricate raindrop, so I decide that I have to stack it up at least 3 times, which will give me 60 layers.
Whoa, Jesse also got all of his drops drilled in.
So after I have all these holes drilled, it's time to flatten out the billet and get the actual raindrop pattern. And then once I have that, it's time to start forging out the blade. Ah, okay. I've got my blade forged out pretty close, so I go over to the grinder and I begin roughing out the profile. Now that I've got this blade rough ground, it's time for the heat treat. The quench could not have gone better. I test it with a file, skates like nobody's business. Now that I've got a quenched blade, it's time to start working on the handle. A bad-looking handle could be the difference between me winning and me losing. I also need to get this animal head to look like an animal head, because at this point, it's just a block. And as far as I know, no animal has a block at its head.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bladesmiths, turn off your machines, put down your tools. This competition is over.
Good job, man.
Nice job.
All right, bladesmiths, welcome to the strength test. To test the strength and durability of your blades, as well as their overall construction, I'm going to be chopping onto these Roman busts. All right, Jesse, you're up first. You ready for this?
Yes.
Cool. All right, Jesse, your edge is perfect, like it never saw that bust. The overall shape is really good. My main concern is with the handle area. This distance, top and bottom, is just a little bit too small, so it's rubbing on my knuckle as I'm holding it, but it's not overwhelming. All in all, nice job. All right, Kurt, you know what's up. You ready for this?
Does it matter?
Not really.
I'm concerned about the weight of my handle. I'm also concerned about the finish. I do want to hold the title.
All right, Kurt. First off, your edge held up great. Pattern you have on here is beautiful. It's a really nice raindrop pattern. Well done. Moving back to the handle is blocky, which kind of isn't a very comfortable handle to hold and swing. Also, it's got a gap in the middle, and the inside edges of that gap are sharp. They're sharp enough that they're rubbing pretty hard on my knuckle. But all in all, blade held up great in this strength test. Nice job.
Thank you.
All right, Gladiators, this is the sharpness test, the animal hide slice. Jesse, you're up first. You ready for this?
Of course.
Let's do this. All right, Jesse, let's talk about your copus here. Your edge is razor sharp. It cuts so cleanly on this animal hide. Overall, sir, your weapon, you'll cut. Kurt, your turn, sir. You ready?
Slice it up.
Will do. All right, Kurt, let's talk about your copus here. Now, your handle construction. If I do put my hand in there, my knuckle can get in there, and there's some sharp edges in there that can cut some skin. But your edges cut very well on this animal hide, and overall, sir, your weapon, you will cut.
Thank you, Doug.
Well, gentlemen, I would say that both of your copuses performed extremely well during our test, which means that our judges have a very difficult decision to make. And the winner of this battle in the Gladiator of the Forge competition is... Jesse, very, very well done. Now, Kurt, you did a phenomenal job. You're a pleasure to watch, but unfortunately, this blade didn't make the cut, and Ben's gonna tell you why.
Well, Kurt, this decision came down to the handle, and your handle with sharp corners on the inside was less refined than your opponent, and that's what we base our decision on.
Unfortunately, your time in this competition has ended. I'm gonna have to ask you to please step off the forge floor.
Thank you, gentlemen. I might not have won this challenge, but I am proud of everything that I've done. So now I'm passing on the title to Jesse, and I really hope he runs with it. He seems like a very talented smith, and I have high expectations for him.
Now, Jesse, you knocked the leader off his pedestal. You are now the Gladiator of the Forge, and you're getting a check for $5,000. Now, Jesse, you got a big decision to make. You just spent 8 hours fighting it out in the forge, and you came out on top. But do you have what it takes to get back in the Coliseum and get back in the battle?
Of course.
Absolutely, it's fantastic.
It's unbelievable. I don't know how I got here.
Well, congratulations again on your win in the $5 grand. We will see you in the forge for the next battle.
I just won $5 grand. I'm gonna be doing my absolute hardest to keep winning because that's what I came here to do.